Thomas More was a man of contradictions. He was a devout Catholic who served a king who broke from the church. He was a humanist scholar who met a brutal end. More was a loyal friend, a loving father, and a man of unwavering principle. He lived in a time of great change and upheaval. He grappled with some of the most pressing issues of his day. These included the nature of power, the role of conscience, and the limits of obedience. More's story is both tragic and inspiring. It is a story of faith and doubt, of loyalty and betrayal, of courage and sacrifice. Above all, it is a story about the importance of standing up for what you believe in, no matter the cost. More's life and death continue to resonate with us today. He is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one person can make a difference. He is a symbol of the enduring power of conscience. More shows us that it is always worth fighting for what is right, even if it means standing alone. Thomas More was born in London in 1478. His father, Sir John More, was a successful lawyer and judge. Young Thomas received a privileged education at St Anthony's School. This was one of London's best schools. More's sharp intellect shone brightly even as a child. At the age of 12, he joined the household of John Morton, the Archbishop of Canterbury. This was a common practice for bright young boys. It placed More within the heart of the church and the political machinations of the day. Morton recognized More's potential. He encouraged his studies and nurtured his burgeoning intellect. This experience exposed More to the world of politics and power at a young age. It profoundly shaped his worldview. More's time with Morton fueled his thirst for knowledge. He went on to study at Oxford University. There he immersed himself in classical literature, philosophy and history. More excelled in his studies. He mastered Latin and Greek. He became fluent in French. He embraced the burgeoning humanist movement sweeping through Europe. Humanism emphasized the value of human reason and experience. It celebrated classical learning and sought to apply its wisdom to contemporary issues. More, with his sharp wit and deep intellect, found a natural home in this movement. After Oxford, More pursued a career in law. He rose quickly through the ranks. He became known for his eloquence, his sharp legal mind, and his unwavering integrity. However, More never abandoned his scholarly pursuits. He continued to write on a variety of subjects. These ranged from theology to political theory. More's most famous work, Utopia, was published in 1516. This book showcased More's humanist ideals. It offered a scathing critique of the social and political ills of his day. Utopia describes an imaginary island society. It is a society free from poverty, greed, and war. In Utopia, private property is abolished. Everyone works for the common good. Education is universal. Religious tolerance is practiced. More's Utopia was not a blueprint for a perfect society. It was a thought experiment. It explored alternative ways of organizing society and addressing social problems. Utopia made More an intellectual celebrity throughout Europe. It sparked debate and controversy. It cemented his reputation as a leading humanist thinker. It challenged readers to imagine a better world. Section 5. In the King's Service, More's rise to power. More's brilliance and reputation did not escape the notice of King Henry VIII. Henry, a young and ambitious king, was eager to surround himself with talented men. He appointed More to a series of increasingly important positions. More served as a royal ambassador, a member of Parliament, and eventually Lord Chancellor. As Lord Chancellor, More was the highest-ranking official in England after the king. He was responsible for the legal system and played a key role in shaping royal policy. More's rise to power was remarkable. It was a testament to his intellect, his hard work, and his reputation for honesty. However, it also placed him in a precarious position. More was a man of principle. Henry VIII was a king accustomed to getting his own way. Section 6. The King's Great Matter, a Clash of Wills. The conflict between More and Henry VIII came to a head over the king's desire for a divorce from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. Henry wanted to marry Anne Boleyn. The Catholic Church, however, did not permit divorce. More, a devout Catholic, was deeply troubled by the king's request. He believed that marriage was a sacred institution. He could not, in good conscience, support the king's desire for a divorce. This placed him in direct opposition to Henry VIII. The king, used to getting his own way, was furious with More's defiance. He exerted immense pressure on More to support his annulment. Henry replaced his advisors with those who would agree with him. Section 7. A matter of conscience. More's defiance. Despite the king's wrath, More refused to budge. He resigned as Lord Chancellor in 1532. This was a desperate attempt to escape the conflict. More hoped that by withdrawing from public life he could avoid directly opposing the king. However, his silence was not enough. Henry VIII, obsessed with securing his divorce and legitimizing his marriage to Anne Boleyn, demanded complete obedience from his subjects. In 1534, he issued the Act of Supremacy. This act declared the king to be the supreme head of the Church of England. The Act of Supremacy was a direct challenge to the authority of the Pope. It was a pivotal moment in English history. It marked the beginning of the English Reformation. More, with his unwavering belief in the supremacy of the Catholic Church, could not swear the oath. Section 8. The price of dissent. More's imprisonment and trial. More's refusal to swear the oath was an act of defiance. Henry VIII interpreted it as treason. More was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. He endured over a year of confinement. Henry VIII continued to pressure him to swear the oath. Despite the harsh conditions and the constant threat of execution, More refused to break. He remained steadfast in his beliefs. He argued that his silence on the matter of the king's divorce and the Act of Supremacy should not be seen as treason. However, his trial was a foregone conclusion. The charges against him were politically motivated. The court was filled with Henry VIII's supporters. Section 9. A martyr's end. More's execution and legacy. On July 6, 1535, Thomas More was found guilty of treason and sentenced to death. Even facing his executioner, More remained defiant. He declared that he died the king's good servant, but God's first. He was beheaded on Tower Hill. More's death sent shockwaves throughout Europe. It turned him into a martyr for the Catholic Church. His execution was seen as a brutal act of tyranny. He became a symbol of resistance against the growing power of the state. More's friend Erasmus famously wrote, "In the death of More, it was as if the world had lost its light." More's story, however, did not end on the executioner's block. Section 10. Remembering More, a legacy of courage and conviction. More's life and death have captivated imaginations for centuries. He is remembered as a man of great intellect, wit, and unwavering principle. His utopia continues to be studied and debated. It serves as a reminder of the power of ideas to challenge the status quo. More's story is a testament to the importance of following one's conscience, even in the face of overwhelming pressure. He is a reminder that true leadership requires not blind obedience, but moral courage. In 1935, over 400 years after his death, the Catholic Church recognized Thomas More as a saint. He is the patron saint of lawyers, politicians, and anyone who seeks to live a life of integrity in a world often driven by power and ambition. Section 11. More's enduring message, a timeless call to conscience. Thomas More's story is not just a historical curiosity, it is a timeless tale that speaks to the human condition. It reminds us that we all face moments in our lives when we are forced to choose between our beliefs and our own well-being. More's life challenges us to examine our own values. What are we willing to stand up for? What price are we willing to pay for our beliefs? In an age of political polarization and social division, More's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of civil discourse, respect for dissenting opinions, and the need to find common ground amidst our differences. Thomas More's legacy is not just about remembering the past, it is about inspiring the present and shaping a better future. It is a call to live with integrity, to speak truth to power, and to never compromise our values, even when faced with the most difficult of choices.